I'm finally over being like sick. To be honest, like feel a whole lot better. Um, but what I'm talking about today is constant growth. Like when it comes to like loving yourself and self care and everything like of that nature, like everything that goes with that is yeah, like I said before, constant growth, and never allow anything like anything to hinder that. Like ask questions about yourself and ask other people about their perspectives on you. Like don't be biased. Don't be biased when it comes to your personal growth, because if you don't listen, if you don't take the time to listen and weigh what people say to your like memory of everything you've done, and or everything like your choices you made, you have to really open yourself up to being like honest with yourself. You have to be honest if you want to grow for real. If you really want to have that consistent constant growth, that to reach the point in your life where you can literally, like when I say like sprout, like go, like get to that point where like growing mentally and maturing is so easy that eventually you won't get offended. Like nothing will bother you. Nothing will really, literally bother you. Someone will say, "Oh, you did this and it hurt me," and you'll think about it and be like, "Well, I apologize." You can take accountability for, your own actions, and that shows maturity. That shows self-respect, because someone who is a good person, like if you're really trying your best to be the healthiest version of yourself, you can take the accountability for anything that you've done, even your cringiest, stupidest decisions. You'll be like, I did that, but I'm not that person anymore. You know what I mean? And people think, oh, if you encounter somebody and they're a certain way, they're always going to be that way. No, no. People can change like that. You can know somebody today and don't know who that person is tomorrow, because people can really change like that, like literally like that. And yeah, it's going to take some constant uh, work to rid of your bad habits. But as long as your mindset, as long as you've made up in your mind that I'm no longer this, I'm no longer doing this, I'm no longer being unhealthy, I'm no longer allowing myself to not take accountability for anything, or I'm not going to like take the time to like not I'm not going to take time, but still, uh, I'm not going to do what I've done before. I'm going to eliminate my bad coping mechanisms. I'm going to eliminate that trauma. You have to dig that trauma up in order to get over it. You can't it's not just oh, I'm just get over it. I'm just let it go. There has to be something that's going to trigger you into that. You have to be open. You have to open yourself up. You have to be vulnerable if you want to grow. There's no such thing as isolating and putting yourself in a box and growing. Because then you're only growing in certain areas that you can work on yourself. But at the same time, if you really want to have like exponential growth, like actual like that mind-blowing kind of growth, you're gonna have to be vulnerable and open with the people around you or the person that you love. Especially in relationships, you're gonna have to be vulnerable with that person, and that person is gonna have to be vulnerable with you. If it's one-sided, you're gonna be growing and they're not, and you're gonna be trying to take accountability, and you're gonna be trying to dig deeper into that person in order for y'all to connect on a real spiritual, mental, physical level. And they're not going to be on the same kind of time. You know what I mean? And that's where the connection will, you lose connection. So like I said before, constantly, constant. I want to stress that, because constantly grow. Don't allow anything. I don't care how much you love that person. I don't care how much you depend on some people for certain things. When it comes to your growth, don't let anything hinder it, because it's healthy for you. It's healthy. If it's healthy for you, stand on that. And I'm not saying like healthy in like a biased kind of way. You have to be open to that painful perspective that you might have done stuff wrong in your past, and you have to accept that. You have to accept the fact that, okay, yeah, I made a dumb decision, I made a bad decision, I made a mistake, or I know what headspace I was in, and at that point I was being jealous, I was being this, I was being that. You can't just be like, oh, everything was a mistake. No, not everything was a mistake, but sometimes there was a misunderstanding that you didn't know. You didn't know. Sometimes you didn't know that it would affect the person the way that it did, but for the sheer fact that it affected them that way, you have to take accountability for that. I know this is longer than usual, but like really, I can't stress it enough. Never let anything, stop your growth. And people that genuinely, truly love you, they're going to point out things that make you uncomfortable. And those people should be cherished. Those people you should listen to. Yeah, you might not like what they're saying, but they're trying to get you to be the healthiest version of yourself. And they truly see your potential, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. That's all I have for today. Be great. Be healthy.